The world of professional wrestling is still buzzing after the shocking turn of events that unfolded at WWE's Saturday night main event. What started as an intense high-energy match between two of WWE's biggest stars, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, took an unexpected and wild turn after the final bell. Cody Rhodes successfully defended his undisputed WWE Championship against Owens, but it was what happened after the match that had everyone talking. Owens, who was already feeling the heat from months of tension, couldn't hold back his frustration after the loss. He hit Rhodes with a piledriver, leaving the champ motionless in the ring. It was a shocking moment that sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. But the real surprise came when Triple H, WWE's chief content officer, confronted Owens backstage, leading to a heated confrontation that no one saw coming. Now, all eyes are on Owens and the aftermath of his outburst. Will Triple H come down hard on the prizefighter for this unsanctioned act of aggression? What consequences await him? As we sit back and try to piece it all together, it's important to dive into the motivations behind Owens' actions. Could there be more to it than just a wrestler throwing a temper tantrum after a loss? Let's take a closer look at why Owens did what he did, and why, in this case, he might just deserve a little bit of defending. Let's set the stage. The rivalry between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens had been building for months. On one side, you had Cody Rhodes, the picture-perfect champion, a man with an impeccable legacy, proudly carrying the undisputed WWE Championship, a symbol of everything he's worked for and the history of his family. On the other side, we had Kevin Owens, a guy who's been through it all in WWE, proving time and time again that he's more than just a brawler. He's a strategist, a master manipulator, and above all else, a force in the ring. Now sure, Owens has the skills to keep up with anyone in WWE, but it's his complex history of personal battles and rivalries that have shaped the character we see today. The match between Owens and Rhodes wasn't just about the title, it was about a lot more. Owens had been on a mission to prove to everyone, and maybe to himself, that he wasn't just some mid-carder waiting for his big moment. He had a chip on his shoulder, determined to bring down the American dream and carve out a legacy of his own. On the flip side, Cody wasn't just defending his title, he was defending his pride, his family's name, and the loyalty of fans who had supported him throughout his career. The stakes couldn't have been higher, and the match reflected that. Both men gave everything they had in the ring, and in the end, it was Cody who came out on top. The crowd erupted as Cody hit his finishing move, the Crossroads, and the referee counted the 3. Victory for Rhodes, but little did anyone know, Owens' emotions were far from settled. Now, it's easy to dismiss Owens' actions as the classic case of a sore loser throwing a tantrum after not getting his way. But when you look a little deeper, it's clear there's more to it. Kevin Owens didn't just lose a match, he lost his entire sense of purpose. It wasn't just about the title for him. This was about proving that he was the most dangerous, the most relentless competitor in WWE, and that no one could take that away from him. For months, Owens had built up this persona of defiance, challenging anyone and everyone to show that he was more than just another guy in the title picture. He wasn't going to be content with just being a part of the roster. He wanted to tear down the myth of the American dream, and in his eyes, Cody Rhodes was the embodiment of that myth. But after all that effort, after all that build-up, Owens came up short. This wasn't just a loss, this was a gut punch to his very identity. A loss like this felt personal. It felt like he had been betrayed by the universe itself, and that's where Owens' actions really start to make sense. In the world of wrestling, the lines between right and wrong are often blurred. Emotions run wild, and sometimes, in the heat of the moment, a wrestler will do whatever it takes to send a message. Owens wasn't just trying to hurt Cody Rhodes. He wasn't throwing a tantrum. He was making a statement. He used the pile driver, a move that's been known to cause serious damage, not just to hurt Rhodes, but to remind everyone that he was still in control. Even in defeat, Owens wanted the WWE Universe and Triple H to know that he was still capable of creating chaos. He wasn't just going to fade into the background after a loss. He was going to make sure that people remembered his name. And then, just when you thought things couldn't get crazier, Owens grabbed the Winged Eagle Championship. For some, this was the ultimate act of disrespect. But for Owens, it was a symbol of control. A way of saying, I may have just lost the undisputed WWE Championship,
but right now, this moment is still mine. It was a brief moment of triumph in the midst of his loss, a chance for Owens to stand tall and remind everyone of who he was. Enter Triple H, a man who knows what it means to walk the fine line between respect and ruthlessness. As WWE's chief content officer, it was his job to maintain order and discipline in the company. He wasn't going to stand by while Owens made a spectacle of himself, especially not in front of the entire WWE universe. Triple H's confrontation with Owens wasn't just about punishment, it was about sending a message to the locker room. He needed to remind everyone that in WWE, no one is bigger than the company. Not even Kevin Owens. But let's take a step back. Triple H knows a thing or two about doing whatever it takes to get ahead. The game has had his own moments of bending the rules, taking shortcuts, and using anything at his disposal to secure his place at the top of WWE. He didn't get to where he is by playing by the book. So, while Triple H may have had every right to confront Owens for his actions, there's a bit of irony here. Owens wasn't exactly out of line by doing what he did. After all, Triple H himself built his legacy on ruthless ambition and taking matters into his own hands. Was Owens really in the wrong here? Or was he simply following the very same code of conduct that made Triple H a WWE legend? The confrontation between Owens and Triple H was heated, but it also shed light on Owens's character. He didn't back down. He didn't apologize. Instead, Owens pushed back, refusing to let anyone tell him what to do. This wasn't just about a petty feud between two superstars. This was about Owens making it clear that he wouldn't be controlled by anyone, not even the King of Kings himself. He wasn't just another guy who lost his temper. He was a fighter who was ready to stand his ground and fight for what he believed in. The WWE Universe was divided on Owens' actions. Some fans saw him as a villain, a guy who crossed the line and let his emotions get the best of him. Others saw him as a guy who was finally being real with the business. For years, Owens had been a fan favorite, known for his raw talent and unpredictable nature. But his actions at Saturday night's main event marked a shift. This wasn't about championships or titles. This was about Owens showing the world that he wasn't just a nice guy looking for respect. He was a man who was willing to take control of his own destiny, no matter the cost. For those of us in Owens' corner, it's important to understand that what happened wasn't just a heel turn. It wasn't just some random act of violence. This was an evolution of his character. Owens had been pushed to his limits, and when someone is backed into a corner, they often lash out. That's exactly what Owens did. He struck when no one expected it, and he made sure that when he did, the entire WWE Universe, and everyone backstage, knew that he wasn't going down without a fight. This wasn't about simple revenge. This was Owens making a statement that he was no longer the underdog. He was the man who was ready to take what he believed was his. Let's not forget about Owens' complicated relationship with Sami Zayn. Their history of betrayal and reconciliation added an extra layer to Owens' actions. It wasn't just about the title or proving a point to Cody Rhodes. In many ways, Owens' actions were part of a larger story about self-determination. Owens didn't betray Zayn out of malice. He did it because he felt it was the only way to secure his own future in WWE. Sometimes, to achieve greatness, you have to make tough decisions, even if it means sacrificing friendships along the way. As we look forward to Monday Night Raw, where Owens will face a gauntlet match set up by Triple H, we find ourselves wondering what's next for the prize fighter. With his career on the line, Owens has a lot to prove. The gauntlet match will test him in ways we've never seen before. But if there's one thing we know about Owens, it's that he isn't afraid of a challenge. He's not going down without a fight, and no matter what happens, he's going to make sure the WWE Universe knows that he's still dangerous, still unpredictable, and still one of the most compelling figures in the business. In the end, Kevin Owens' actions at Saturday night's main event were extreme, but they were driven by deep-rooted motivations. Owens had been pushed to his limit, and when someone reaches that breaking point, they often take matters into their own hands. It was a cry for respect, a fight for his place in WWE's hierarchy, and a signal to everyone that Kevin Owens wasn't going to let anyone control him. He's a fighter, and he's going to keep fighting no matter the cost. So now all eyes are on Owens. What happens next? Can he redeem himself? Can he prove that he belongs at the top of WWE? Whatever the outcome, one thing is for certain. This is only the beginning of Kevin Owens' most dangerous and unpredictable chapter yet. And whether you love him or hate him, you won't be able to take your eyes off him.